Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 140. This is the official video game of Secret Friends Unite. I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, in an undisclosed location. It might be a prison. It might be Nintendo jail. Nobody knows. I don't have to say anything, but I am in a different spot tonight. So you might hear some sounds you're unaccustomed to in my house. But I am joined by some very good company tonight. If you're watching the video, you already know who our guest is, but I'll introduce my cohort, my Canadian in arms, Mark, the Canadian Carabin. How you doing, my friend?
I'm great. I'm really hoping my power holds out. I heard a couple of claps of thunder, so we'll see. The last time we had like a thunderstorm, the power flickered off and on for a little while, but didn't go fully out. So hopefully we'll have some good luck, and the same will be, just be a fun light show. That'll be it. So
It's the gaming gods playing
exactly.
Wii bowling
Just
in the
excited to be
sky.
here.
Well, very good. We have got our special guest who's been on the show quite a few times. That is Mr. Cheesy C64. Daddy Cheesy, how are you doing, my friend?
How are you guys doing?
Very, very good.
Good.
Since we last podcasted, you've actually started your own podcast. Why don't you just tell us about that really quick?
Yeah, so I co-host a podcast with John Ebo. You probably have heard of him. He's a big troll. If you haven't heard of him, that's even better. But the show is called Communication Error, and the elevator pitch for it is it's a gaming debate podcast where we may not always agree, but if we listen to what one another has to say, maybe we'll be able to fix our communication errors. So yes, it is about gaming, but it also on a deeper level, it's just about like, hey, if we could just sit down and talk about these things, then maybe we will see that we're on the same page.
So, has there been an episode you've been basically still oh, I can barely believe you are a human being with that opinion?
Yeah, I mean, he, for whatever reason, doesn't like video game music. And see, your guys' faces. Yeah, there's so many great video game music out there that wasn't a complete sentence, but you know what I'm saying. I just don't know how you can not care for it. It adds so much to the game that you're playing. It adds to the experience and the difficulty. It can really set the mood. I don't know. So yeah, there's that. I'm sure there's others, but we will agree to disagree on some topics. Most of the time we do agree because it's kind of hard to have an hour-long show where you're just disagreeing with each other the whole time. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really enjoy it. We also have community-based episodes the following week. So whatever we were talking about, we get the community involved and read their questions and comments. But we also bring on a guest who we think is pretty knowledgeable on that topic and hear their point of view. They've already heard what we had to say. So let's bring in somebody else who may add something different to the topic.
Like a counselor?
Pretty much, yeah. That's what it turns into, yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, we'll let people know where they can find that podcast at the end of the episode. But I love everybody that brings something unique to the podcast community. So Cheesy, and you do some great stuff on shorts and on YouTube. So as well, I know, and you use your little We Speak moat.
Yeah, my little GameCube mic.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. So, folks, this is going to be our big prediction show for showcases that are still TBD, Nintendo and Sony. So at this point, though, I think we should get into what makes the show possible. So, Mark, take it away, introducing these awesome people.
Yes, we have to thank our amazing supporters, the patrons, over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, where you can head for a free 7-day trial right meow. So you can get all our shows ad-free. bonus shows, bonus content, all that kind of good stuff, and join the amazing people like our Friends with Benefits tier, John Sedorf, the Phoenix Sisters cosplay team, Brendan Myers, Matthew Keel, and Corey in HD, as well as our incredible, kind, and generous BFF tier, Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias, the amazing Nias family, and Missy Merchant. Again, ad-free for all our Patreons. You get bonus stuff, you get early content, all that stuff over there. Free 7-day trial at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite.
Mwah! The official, I guess it'd be platonic kiss. I don't want to be accused of anything, any untowards elements. So we'll go from there and say thank you again for all the cool stuff you folks do. We're gonna have some cool new episodes coming up with some of that Patreon content. I'm actually going to be doing a really cool episode of Spinner Rack with Kelly Gentner, who's part of the Phoenix Sister cosplay, all about Superman. Kind of like why does everybody think Superman can't have good stories? And we're going to bring some of those good stories to the forefront. So I think it'll make people appreciate Superman for being more than just the perceived Boy Scout. So look forward to that. We're going to be recording probably on Thursday. So that episode should be out very soon. And by all means, if you're Patreon, you get to sometimes be on our shows and also suggest content, basically content you'd like us to cover as well. So with that, something that we need to discuss, gentlemen. It's very important that we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this week, our good, bad, and ugly is coming back to the glory days of E3 for some classic E3 fails. So it's very equally driven to all three console holders. So I picked the 2008 Wii Music Concert with Robbie Drums, with when they were playing like I don't know, is it Mary Had a Little Lamb or something like that? They were jamming out to because they didn't want to pay for like licensed content.
Terrible, unlicensed music. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something equally ridiculous. If it wasn't Mary Had a Little Lamb, yeah, it was pretty bad.
It's up that level. Then we had the 2006 PS3 reveal, where they shocked people with a price, told them to get a second job, and also talk about Genji. It's a historical combat game, including a giant crab. That was really good. And Ridge Racer. And then in 2009, you got the Kinect Showcase. Project Natal was revealed. This isn't even like the weird showcase they did where they took people out to a building. Remember that when they took people out to like the hangar, they wore those weird jackets and had lights and everything like that. Not this. This is the original Kinect Showcase where hijinks ensued. So with that, we are picking the worst is the buy. So you're buying the worst version of these. So Cheesy as our guest. What do you choose?
Oh, man. Okay, so I do feel like it is kind of... One definitely has more of a advantage than the other two. And I'm trying to decide if I want to say the buy first or the return. I think I'm going to return the 2006 PS3 reveal because it's just a reveal.
Wow.
I know that it is a big deal, and I know that that was out of a lot of people's price range, but that's just something that you say and then you just kind of move on. I mean, they didn't move on from that, but that
not for
in
quite
that
some
moment,
time.
like you said it, you can't take it back.
That price stuck around for a few years. That price was a pretty big deal for a long time.
Yeah. And then rent the 2008 Wii Music Concert, because that's an experience. That was a train wreck. That is something that I'm glad that we have in Nintendo's history, because like you said, you can't always celebrate the good. You got to celebrate the bad as well. And they definitely learned from that experience. And I'm pretty sure the music that they were playing was the Mario Bros. Theme song. And it sounded nothing like the Mario Bros. Theme song, so that makes it even better. So yeah, that's gonna be my rent. And the buy, where I feel like this is an unfair advantage, that was a huge showcase, and there's so many things that went wrong in that showcase. It's longer than the other two. I mean, you have the Scan. Do you guys remember when they said you can scan your skateboard and it will be in the game?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. They also had the Connectimals, the
Yes.
the animals, and you had that little kid that would like go on and try to be cute with this little animal, and it was just cringy. What
Didn't
else happened in that
didn't Peter Moore like talk
showcase?
to like a kid that was, or not Peter Moore,
Milo.
Milo, yeah.
Oh my god.
Someone's real child was held
seriously
hostage.
just unlocked a memory for me. Yeah.
Peter
I mean,
Molyneux, that's who it
definitely.
was. Yeah, Peter
You
Molyneux.
gotta buy that experience. So yeah, buy the Connect Showcase, rent the Wii Music concert, and then return the PS3 reveal.
Okay, I like that. Good
Yep.
picks.
I see your logic behind those. I categorically disagree with every single one, but I see your logic.
I love it. Communication error. Yes, we got some disconnects
For
here.
me, I'm looking at lasting impact of these. So I'm approaching it a little bit differently, I think. So
Okay.
my lasting impact on the company, I am going to buy 2006's PS3 reveal as the reveal that lost them that generation. Because I think,
okay.
at the end, I think they kind of caught up, but like Xbox 360 dominated.
Definitely in the
that
United States.
generation.
In North America, Xbox
In North
dominated.
America.
Yeah.
In North America. And I think a lot of it was to do with how Sony went in. They were like high on the PS2. They came in way too cocky, way too hot, and we've seen other companies do that since in a couple of examples that we see here. And you really could have swapped this if you had swapped this Connect showcase for the Xbox One reveal featuring a built-in
TV, sports,
had
TV,
to
TV,
have,
TV.
Well, not only that, but had to have Connect in the box, had to be online. I think that's the same level of hubris. I don't think this 2009 Xbox Connect showcase had as lasting bad appeal because it was an option. Right? So that's what's setting it aside from me. So if you had to swap those two Xboxes, I think I'd be giving them the top spot. But this PS3 reveal, anyone that was a PlayStation fan that heard that, like, we're trying to price people out, was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why do you have your head that far, Henry earmuffs, up your own ass? That to me is just, and it lasted through that entire generation, that you hear that, like, hey, PS3 reveal, like you say that to someone on the street, someone's going to say, oh yeah, I get a second job. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, to me, is kind of lasting appeal, or lasting devastation, I guess. So that's
Mark, and do you guys remember what the prices were?
I don't
know if you can read it in the doc. It was $5.99 for a 60 gigabyte PlayStation 3, $4.99 for a 20 gigabyte.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. So I think that's going to be my buy. I think the rent is going to be that Connect showcase, because it was Connect. It was just like just so many things went wrong. It was just such a, like, you're trying to do what Nintendo don't, but nobody at this point, like, it's 2009. Nobody's really high on the Wii. Like, why are you trying this?
Yeah, 3 years after the Wii
right?
release.
Yeah. It's still going strong, but like, that novelty has worn off from every like core gamer who's watching E3. It's just like your grandmother's still playing Wii bowling and enjoying that experience, but like, you guys are already showing why the Xbox 360 PS3 has that advantage now, after that novelty and the gimmick wore off. Now, sure, they did some cool things over on the Wii afterwards and whatever, but like, it's still like you're bringing motion a year after they did this Wii Music thing, and you see that kind of tanking of the Wii. Why? So that was kind of my reasoning there. And then the Wii Music thing, it's horrible. It's meme worthy, but it didn't crush sales of the Wii. It didn't really like, people laughed at it, but the Wii still broke records, which is ridiculous to me. So that's what I mean by like when I approach these of like lasting impact, that's kind of how I was thinking of it. Cause like the Kinect was like, what's Microsoft doing? I'm going back to PlayStation. Now that I don't have to get a second job, I'm going to go back there because Xbox is just spinning. They're out of ideas. Clearly they're out of ideas. They're just trying to copy Nintendo 3 years too late and no one cares anymore. So for me, that the Wii Music concert, as terrible as it was like, okay, it's terrible, but like the Wii's still selling 100 billion units, so it doesn't matter.
It only prints money.
Yeah, and it was disappointing. Don't get me wrong. Every single one of these were disappointing, especially coming off of like Wii 2007. We got, I think, a Smash Brothers reveal, Mario Galaxy that year. Was that even like 2007? Was it like Wii Fit, Mario Kart? I think like they were coming out swinging in 2007, and a year later they bring up Ravi Drums having a spasm fit on stage. Like, no, guys, take that back to the drawing board. So all of these are terrible. So this is a very small margin of error, but I think I'm going to stick with that. So buy PS3, rent Xbox, return Wii Music, but they're all horrible.
I was just remembering, like, with the Wii Music, I think that's the same E3 where Shaun White is either like, it was either
with
a Shaun
Cammy,
White
right?
game. What was it?
Was it with Cammy, the business lead, and she was snowboarding too, and it was like, wow.
Shaun White, like the whole time, is just like awkwardly like laughing, and you're like, oh god, this whole thing is just feels so weird.
Yeah,
you were saying though, like Kinect,
definitely stoned.
Yeah, Kinect came out 2009. When did PS Moves come out?
It had to be around.
I'm gonna say 8 or 9 as well.
Felt like they were both
but
kind
that's
of
just guessing.
Years.
Yeah, so was that like revealed with the PS3, or was that down the line?
No, it was after. I was after. I don't know. Does anybody have a date?
One second.
Move.
I will. That's not right.
I just think it's like if Kinect was.
Oh, it was later.
Oh, it was 2010.
Oh, even better.
Well, it might have been announced. Right. It may have been announced.
It was released September 2010. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. So hold on. It was announced in 2009. Okay. It was revealed during the press conference in 2009. So same year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All those toys hanging out from the
Everyone
PS2.
is playing catch up to the Wii.
Oh, jeez. Boy. You know, you gentlemen make me think of like, oh, you know, did I pick the right type of things? Like a fail on stage or a failure to a business or damage to the business? Because you could take it either way. It's like, what's the biggest guffaw? Who looked like the biggest idiots? Because I think of like when PlayStation did their Wonder Book presentation, they spent like 25 minutes on the Harry Potter thing. Ridiculous. Yeah. They had Ubisoft had a laser gun game that they had coming out
with Joel McHale.
Now's the time for some reasonable sanity, and that is my picks. So at this point, I am going to view this from once again, worst, and I will take it from everybody's opinion of impact to the business. So I'm going with my buy for worst is the 2000 Kinect Showcase, because ultimately you can feel this is where Xbox changed the direction of their company. They tried to go mainstream, because Kinect was an idea that a lot of people was actually expected this thing to fail, and it did very well as a accessory you had to buy, not as a part of the system it came with. Did exceedingly well, and then Xbox continued to do really well on their strategy, and this was then. But then you saw what they did with next gen. They decided to go into casual entertainment, TV, sports, And I think this is why it's more detrimental to their business, because they took their eye off the prize. PlayStation started getting momentum at the end of the PS3 era and just basically, took Xbox's lunch. I mean, essentially, the deals that Xbox had with Call of Duty, they dropped. PlayStation picked those up. And a lot of momentum, like Xbox had the GTA exclusive DLC from GTA 4 with Valley Tony. They did nothing like that. They decided that they were good enough. So I think that's where I viewed that this is kind of like the uh, Xbox's change really damaged their business. And it feels like they've just really struggled since. I'm going to go with the rent, and that's PlayStation, because ultimately, to your point, it did damage their business. It was too expensive. They took the rumble out of the DualSense. They made the 6-axis.
Right.
And they said you have to get a second job, and they didn't have a great game lineup. So I think that damaged their system for probably until we got the steady stream of PS3 classics that like Uncharted, Infamous, and games like that. So I think that was second. They did recover though, but it did took them many, many, many years.
Mm.
And then Wii Music, horrible disaster in the screen, but it was one game. So ultimately it was like, leave that over the corner. Miyamoto gets to get people to forget about his, his worst game ever. And, that's, it probably is the beginning of the end of their wanting to be on stage and look like a fool anymore. So probably the end of their live presentations. I think what they had 2 more or 3 more. I'm trying to remember how many more they had before they went direct.
Yeah. When was Link's crossbow training? Was that before or after this?
Oh, that was early, wasn't it?
Was it? Because I mean, I remember that being a big, oopsie.
Yeah,
and
that was before. That was like 2007. I think that was released.
And then they went and tried to be on stage again. Yeah, I think you're right, Todd. Like after that, they just were like, "Nah, we're not doing this anymore."
I'm trying to remember
released worldwide November 2007. So that was like 2007's E3 maybe, or announced separately. But yeah.
So not the greatest things we love about E3. I think next episode, Mark, mine will be best moments of E3, kind of like those moments that just blew you away, made the conferences worth their price of entry, and why we miss it so much. So I think we'll go to the good after that. So with that, what has everybody been gaming? Sheezy.
I've been kind of bouncing around a little bit. I finished Animal Well, which that game so good. And I don't know how many people have experienced it, but for those that don't know, it's like a Metroidvania, somewhat of a platformer, and it's just a lot of puzzles. There's no combat, so when you think of a Metroidvania, you're like, oh, I gotta fight enemies. You're not fighting anyone. You do have a health bar, but it's more of you just trying to figure out, okay, how do I get out of this room and advance into the next one? And there's just so many aha moments that I haven't felt gaming in a long time that just, they make you feel good when you finally figure it out. So I definitely recommend that game. I've been playing a little bit of Paper Mario. I was in Houston the past weekend, so I really only got to play while I was on the plane. But I also am like kind of behind on my catalog for Splatoon 3 before the next season. So I need to grind probably tomorrow or Thursday and see if I can get up to the end of the catalog before the new season starts. But yeah, Animal Well is definitely at the top of the list that everybody should be playing. And then I guess recently my wife and I did play Little Kitty Big City. Awesome. And that was fun. Like,
I've heard good things about that.
It's a good time. It's a very simple game, but if you're wanting to play as a cat, if you like Untitled Goose Game and Stray, I guess, like that's the game for you.
Yeah, a big Untitled Goose Game and Donut County kind of vibes, like just that.
Oh, I need to play that game.
Quick kind of game. Oh, Donut County's amazing. Get it for sure. Try that one out. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about Animal Well because I can play it on PS Plus, and I was trying to get. I mean, I've seen some of the video, and I'm like, the art style is really unique.
Mhm.
It's by Donkey is the company that publishes this because he wanted to
Huh?
create basically a label for games he loves. And when you say that it's puzzle based, like what type of puzzles are we talking about? Is it like how do you get through the like an exit? Is it what type of puzzles?
Yeah, so I mean that's also kind of the fun part about the game is it really doesn't tell you anything. It's just go play, have fun, discover. But yeah, a lot of the puzzles are, you might be trapped in this one room, or maybe you're not trapped, but there's a gate on the other side that will help you advance into that next area. Um, but you just need to figure out the puzzle. And there might be some puzzles that you can't get to until you acquire a certain ability that allows you to figure out that puzzle. So it's in that sense, like the Metroidvania part of it is really strong. It's just you got to think about it a little different than your average Metroidvania games.
When you said no comment, kind of reminds me of like Inside or Limbo.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
interesting. I'll definitely check it out because I've heard it's not a very long game, and I heard there's some very legitimately scary moments of that game too, and you're afraid.
Yeah, I guess that's something I should speak about because like the game is really cool. The art style awesome. There are some parts of it that are kind of unsettling and not like scary, but just this kind of makes me feel a little weird. Like I wasn't expecting it from this game. But that also is just like a really cool element of it because when you think you're playing like a really fun cozy game, there's just certain enemies or something that happens and you're like, "Oh, my heart is kind of racing right now."
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's on PS Plus. It's on Switch.
Yep.
Is it on Xbox? I
Yeah.
can't know. I don't know what platforms it's on.
I think it's on
Yeah, I
everything.
think it's pretty much everywhere.
I think it's 32 megabytes. It's like one of the smallest games
Oh,
ever.
it, such a fast download. Like I bought it and then it just was like a snap and it was downloaded.
Cool. I am definitely going to check it out. And I think everybody, if you're interested, check it out. Like, cheesy. Have you been streaming it at all, or is it just playing it on your own?
Just playing it on my own. And I think that is like the best experience for it. It could be fun to stream with an audience, but I don't know, something like that I think personally I just would like on my own time.
Well,
Correction, it is
folks.
not on
Oh, go ahead.
Xbox. It's on PC, but not Xbox.
Oh, it's not on Game Pass?
No, apparently not.
No,
Oh,
but it's on PS Plus, so that's very interesting.
huh.
Yeah.
Um,
This is from what I'm reading by a quick Google search. So that could be changed now, but it's looking like it's on Steam, PlayStation. There could be some news somewhere that I'm missing, but I'm on the official website right now, and it's listing PlayStation, Switch, Steam, and limited run. So
Oh,
that's it.
interesting. Okay.
a limited run, so it's going to be a physical release. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. And you mentioned Paper Mario. I've been playing Paper Mario as well, so might as well talk about that right away. w- I've never played Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, so I'm coming in this new. I liked Mario RPG. Didn't stick around very long because I got what it was giving me, but I was like, okay, I kind of fell off. This game, I'm still early in. I like what it's dropping, and I love the art style. It's very beautiful. It is a little wordy, and there are a lot of systems. Like when they're trying to explain it, it's like a laundry list of here's all the things. I'm like, wow, I didn't know this game was that complex. So I'm enjoying it, but I'm not very far in, so I can't speak much to it. I haven't gotten to any abilities. No, I got the first ability, which is you can turn into a paper plane. So that's the first ability I've got. That's about as far as I've gotten. So it's probably an hour in, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think if anybody wants to try something different, or act like a turn-based RPG that has a really fun style and look to it, check it out.
I think it's just pretty charming. Like the writing in itself is really good. Like yes, it is very word heavy, but if you are reading it, like it kind of makes it worth it. There's one part, and it's not really spoilers, but like Peach gets kidnapped, and you're playing as Bowser, and somebody is like telling him the news, and he responds with, "Who kidnapped Princess Peach other than me? Like who is allowed to do that?" That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice change of events where you like there's we're giving Nintendo characters some like actual personality.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't do that. It's all about gameplay. Don't give them personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very cool. And so we talked about Splatoon. Can you shame Mark to play more Splatoon? Because he's been
Mark.
playing a lot of Fortnite, but his first love, Splatoon. He hasn't talked about it
Hey, guess what I
at
played
all.
this week, Todd? That's going to make you feel real silly right now.
Oh no. Splatoon. Did you play it?
Yeah.
Wasn't on your playlist, Mark. So
I know. I was just
don't
going to
blame
mention it
me, man.
casually because I mean, there's nothing really new. I just we've been playing. As I mentioned, I think the last episode, Finn and I have been playing a ton of Smash Brothers, which we're still playing. That was his. Can I please play one round of Smash Brothers before I go to bed? That was his bargain tonight. And since it's his birthday tomorrow, we were like, you can play several rounds of Smash Brothers, bud. Let's go. So. Yeah, but he recently he fell in love with the Inkling characters in Smash Brothers, and wanted to see where they come from, and so I showed him this past weekend. We played a bunch of Splatoon, so that was me getting back into it. I was very rusty. I hadn't played it in a while, but I love that you called me out for not playing Splatoon. The weekend I've played Splatoon the most I have in probably a year. So that's great.
That's good. I feel good that I can pressure you into getting back to one of your loves.
Yeah.
Very
Did
cool.
you play Side Order?
I didn't play Side Order. No, it was just all multiplayer. I have not played Side Order yet.
Oh, I think you'll enjoy it.
All right. I'll have to get it. Now that my
Cheesy
love is kind of rekindled, I do have to jump back in and play everything.
Yep. And if you see Mark out there playing Fortnite on a Switch, send him a friend request.
Definitely not Fortnite on my Switch. That has been deleted long ago. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Well, good to know. Good to know. Well, that's good, Mark. So Mark, what else have you been playing?
So aside from Smash Brothers and Splatoon, we've still been playing Minecraft as well. We're still working on our giant roller coaster that goes all around our little island, and I found another island that I started building out, so it goes over the water now to this tiny little spit of an island first, and then takes a hard left to this big island that kind of reminds me of like where One Eye Willie's ship is in the Goonies, like these tall walls, but then inside is this like really cool like waterfalls and like little caves and caverns and like a big pool. So really cool. So right now that's what we're working on. We were building out. I was building out the roller coaster, and Finn was hunting sea creatures, and I'm gonna call them underwater zombies because my Minecraft creature knowledge isn't good. But there were some zombie-looking things with tridents in the water around the island, and Finn went hunting for those while I built up our roller coaster down and around a lava waterfall, lava fall. What do you call those?
Lava fall.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Lava fall. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sure. So we've been doing that, but I've also gotten into. Of course, there's a new chapter in Fortnite, so I'm jumping into that and playing that. This is Chapter 5, Season 3, nicknamed Wrecked. I'm loving this season. I'm loving the changes. I think everything that they've done is really, really fun. It's a very like Mad Max wasteland style. Like there's cars that you can kind of get souped up, and it's very easy to soup them up. You just kind of drive over crates and you get like a cow catcher that has spikes on it, or a turret gun, or bulletproof tires. And it adds like a cool new mechanic to the game that, it's more than just like a car to get you from A to B. Now that car can be a functional weapon. And you have to adapt your strategy, whether you're in the car or trying to fight a car without another vehicle. So it's fun that way. But they've also done some like Fallout stuff. So there's Nuka-Cola. One of the battle pass unlocks is the T60 power armor, which is just fantastic. And then randomly, they also threw Magneto into the battle pass as like an unlockable character a little bit down the road. So tons of fun stuff. There's a lot of, like I said, the Wasteland vibe is real. And it's just so far has been a very, very fun season. I'm really loving like that kind of like Wasteland Mad Max vibe of everything. It's all very gritty. I like it.
Cool. Did they release any Mad Max actual like skins or anything like Furiosa?
Not so far. You'd think with such a Mad Max inspired feel to this season that Furiosa or Mad Max or something would be in the item shop at least, if it wasn't in the pass, right? Like just release it for people to buy. I don't know if that's something they're working on, if they got straight up turned down by the studio or something, and they just said, you know what, screw it, Fallout's popular, let's get some T60, or we'll just go for vibes rather than an actual tie-in. No idea. Don't pretend to even try to follow like Fortnite behind the scenes news that deeply to know. So if anyone does know, let me know on like Instagram or in our Discord or something like that. If you've heard some behind the scenes rumbling, this is like, oh yes, this was supposed to be the Mad Max season and they went with Magneto instead because things. Not a darn clue, but it's fun. I'll tell you that much. It's very fun. I blew a couple of people up. They were kind of fighting and I pulled my car up on top of a hill and just started shooting grenades at them from the turret on my vehicle. It was a good time. I blew them both up. It was very fun.
Yeah. I would love to know, like, what are the companies that have said no to Fortnite? We know Nintendo is like, no way. And apparently they said you could have our characters, but only in the Nintendo version, but we wouldn't share. And that's so Nintendo. It's like, yeah, Kratos can be everywhere. Master Chief can be everywhere. Mario, nope, that will taint Nintendo forever.
Even though there is a game where Mario has a gun in Mario and Rabbids, but
yeah. But
the Rabbids,
and Nintendo's done that before, I think to their detriment, because for us, we kind of understand it, I think, as kind of older gamers who have seen this kind of bullshit before. New generation, I can say firsthand, my son has called bullshit on Nintendo already, and he turns 4 tomorrow.
Such language for a 4-year-old.
He has seen, well, not in those words, but basically in a 4-year-old kind of way, he has called bullshit on Nintendo because he knows that there are Super Mario skins and that kind of thing in Minecraft on the Switch. But he likes playing on the Xbox because we can do 2-player easier or whatever. I don't know. We've had some hiccups on the Switch version of it, which I talked about in the last episode. So he likes doing that, but we can't get the Mario skins on there. And he's like, but we have Mario in Minecraft. I'm like, well, that's only on this. And like, he knows like enough that I think he kind of like gets that it's the same account because I have the other things that I bought except Mario. So he's like, well, you have your Sonic shirt. I was like, yeah, I know I have my Sonic shirt, but like Mario's not Sonic. He's like, that's bullshit. Basically, like he's just giving me that face of like, I'm not following what you're saying. You have the Sonic shirt, you have your axolotl slippers. Where the F is my Mario hat? Like, like he's just that level of like, this is shenanigans. And it's like, sorry, kid, I guess we're going to discuss corporate politics at your 4th freaking birthday party. Like what, like it's horseshit. Like Nintendo's just like this new generation that is growing up on Fortnite, having Kratos fight Captain America, a giant banana, and like Batman. They don't care anymore. And like it's starting to come back to Nintendo just being like, what are you guys doing? Who cares if Samus is running around with Master Chief? Like, it's Fortnite. Just get over yourselves.
Yeah.
So like we kind of accept it as like, well, it's Nintendo being Nintendo, but like the next generation of kids coming up are just going to be like, who do you think you got there? Like, Link ain't shit. You know what I mean? Like they just like Finn just does not care like at all. I mean, he's
Mark,
4,
they're not
but
jaded
like
and old and just accepted defeat like we have.
that's it. And he sees all these characters. Like he knows that Bumblebee and like his favorite Transformers can rock it with like any like Batman and like I said, like Daredevil in Fortnite. Like he sees this stuff on the screen and he's like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, can you be the Ninja Turtles next? Like, yes, I can, dude. Like, yeah, we can do that. So like it's just the expectation has been set. Like I fired up the Xbox today and he saw it was a picture like a promotion for was it Multiversus with like Batman and something else on. He was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
Batman, let's go."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just wait. There's a ton. Like Batman's fighting Bugs Bunny. This is gonna blow your mind. Like
just wait until Jason Voorhees is his favorite character.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like him, Daddy.
So we went to a local con on the weekend, and the first character he pointed out of all the people that were there, he pointed out Zero Suit Samus. And I was just like, that's my boy. And my wife was like, how did the 4-year-old spot that before you did? I was like, I don't know. I'm off my game. But like, he was like, Zero Suit Samus from Smash Brothers. I was like, I'm going to give you partial points for that one. Thank you. But,
good job.
like he loves characters and he loves seeing them all over the place. So when they can't be somewhere, it's just frustration.
Just tell him, Mark, anytime he does something bad, well, now Bluey's not coming to Fortnite.
Jeez.
I would pay so much money to run around Fortnite as Bandit. You don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Make them grow up. Make them grow up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those kids that can finally get too old for Dora.
We got Peter Griffin. Come on, Bandit. Let's do this.
I think Barney was in a Doom mod. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Yeah. Well, very, very cool. Hopefully we'll find out, more about Fortnite and who can't be paid to get their content in Fortnite. So we'll see. If you have something for Mark, let him know. For me, I talked about Paper Mario. That's from GameFly. So thank you, GameFly, for that. I have now completed both Hellblade 1 and Hellblade 2.
Whoa.
If completed means played for an hour and then decided to watch a walkthrough, no commentary.
Okay. I'll give it to you.
With surround sound, great 4K view. I know this is gonna sound horrible and hurt Donnie's heart, but quite honestly, not playing the game is essentially the same experience as playing it, except I've got somebody not to stumble around, look for a stupid rune, find out where it is. You still get the voices, you still get that, and you don't have the combat. Quite honestly, that's not a lot, and you really have it would be hard to die in the game, to be honest. So I feel like it's one of those games that, quite honestly, it should have an option just to play itself, solve all the puzzles, and still get the story.
All right.
I mean, it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm actually kind of getting a little tired of it's a beautiful game because they can focus on the graphics because the interactivity is fairly limited. You can't really go off the path and explore. You can't go through things. So they can make it look as beautiful as it's like way racing games can often look the most beautiful because there's not much interactivity. You're on a racetrack and that's it. All the backgrounds are pretty much static, so you can make it look beautiful. So the game does look amazing, but so did the first Hellblade. And I'm not sure how long the first Hellblade took. This one took like 6 years to make, and it was only 6 hours long or 8 hours long. And I'm not calling out like length because it is a story, but it's $50. And I don't think what they did in the first game I feel like they did anything to really improve this game from an actual game perspective. Storytelling is fantastic. Like I said, it's fantastic. But once again, it's a game. You're supposed to have gameplay elements. There's no decisions to be made. There's no dialogue options. It's pretty much a set path from here to there. There's really no scurrying and finding on your own way. So in a lot of ways, it is a very much a through line narrative that doesn't change no matter what you do. So in a lot of ways, when people say, well, it's a game, and I'm like, this ultimately could have been a 2-hour movie with really good surround sound and achieved the exact same thing, because like I said, there was no choices you make in this game to feel like you're doing something to drive the story forward or you're taking a different path. So that's where I think the game in a lot of ways is a failure. And I think that's when you see people, their scores are lower, it's because of that. Not because they hate the series. It's just like they expected more from a game. I played games like Gone Home that are wonderful stories, have about the same interactivity, and actually a little bit more because you're trying to solve the mystery and figure out where you're going. And it's not the visual. It's like Celeste. I mean, that is a non-combat game, but the story plus the gameplay really bring home the interactive experience. So in a lot of ways, it's well worth checking out. It's on Game Pass. And in a lot of ways, I think there were some things that actually were worse, because the way where you ended in game one, I feel like this was almost like a Metroidvania, where they take away kind of your progress and where you were as a person.
Yeah.
And it felt like it revisited a lot of the same narratives and some of the same trauma and drama. And I'm like, I thought we got over that.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, okay. One thing I did like, they brought in companions, like real companions, not just weird visions she has in FMV. But as soon as something was going to be interesting with them and their relationship, Senya would go off on her own again for like a half hour to an hour, go down a tunnel looking for orbs or something like that. I kind of felt like that was a huge missed opportunity where they could have established relationships like in God of War or something like that. You did have a narrator telling you about some of the Norse mythology there. But yeah, I don't think the Furies that are those voices in your head, they got to be a little bit overwhelming at times. And I get that mental health can be like that. But they were ultimately often at times speaking over what your companion was saying. So it's almost like I can't hear either. And it's so when I think about game direction, that's where something where they maybe pulled back. Totally get the don't believe them. What are they doing? They're going to force you. But it's like, I don't know. And there was still an element in the story. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Was that an intentional thing of like these voices in your head can harm relationships? Like, is that the point they were trying to, or was it just bad sound design? Because there's a difference between showing that like a mental health issue or that kind of situation can distract you and can be harmful to you're trying to listen to someone but the voices in your head are too loud to pay attention and you're like, sorry, what? I didn't hear a single word you're saying because everything's too loud.
Exactly. I was looking at my phone rather than listening to you.
And it's so if they were trying to drive that point home of like, this is damaging her real relationships, not just the memories that she has and not just when she's by herself, this is damaging these. If that's the point they were driving home, good on them, because it caused you frustration in the game, and it can show how someone dealing with that kind of an illness can have that frustration in their real life. But it was if it was just bad sound design, then that's a very different conversation. You know what I mean? Like, it's so without having played it so far, and I do need to play it. That's just the one kind of clarifying question that I guess I have. And you don't know. So if you're unsure, then they either didn't do a great job or it is an audio hiccup, I think.
Yeah. And a lot of the times, I think what they were trying to accomplish through a lot of these things was to show the impact on mental illness. I don't know if everybody's going to take that away from it. Maybe if they're told ultimately this is a game about mental illness versus like if you went into this game knowing nothing and there were just voices in your head, maybe she's cursed. I don't know. She has trauma, obviously, so that's leading into it. But yeah, to your point, if you're point is it's distracting and taking away from your relationships. Like I said, maybe like when you're talking to a person, they're too busy not listening to you because they're on their phone or distracted or something like that. I don't know. So maybe it was that sense, but in a lot of ways, to me, it was more distracting than additive to
Mm.
made me feel that way. Kind of like the combat in a lot of ways. Um, I don't know if those things actually really happened or it was like a battle she went through in her mind, maybe. Um, but when you were in combat, the Furies weren't only being helpful in a lot of ways. Like, oh, you can do it. You're strong. Watch behind you.
Mm.
And I thought that would have been a perfect time for the Furies to make you doubt yourself. And the
Mm.
voices say, you're going to fail. Don't get up. But a lot of times they were more helpful to her. So, I mean, maybe it's saying in her weakest moment, she's got an internal monologue that can help her. So that's the thing. In a lot of ways, I like complexity in stories, and this one had it. It just sometimes I felt like certain elements, it's like, oh, this is the storytelling part. This is the puzzle part. This is the combat part. And it's like they needed to be blending together. And yes, I love the God of War series, and I feel like they do a much better job of blending the combat and the storytelling together. It's kind of like Uncharted, where there's dialogue and discussions as you're going along through the story. It doesn't feel like it's chopped in pieces because that's what they're doing. So I don't want to be a negative Nelly because I think the ending was really cool. I liked what they were going for, but it took 3 hours before I got to like one of the big parts, especially what they showcased at the Xbox original show with the giant.
Mm.
You don't get that until like almost, you're towards the back half of the game. And I felt like that was a wasted opportunity, where that was where it got more compelling, more interesting, felt like it was a different game than the first, where it kind of set itself apart, and tied into the relationship. So that's where I would say this game for me was more of a 6 to 7. And like I said, the fact that I could just have a walkthrough, even comparing, I played it for like an hour first, I felt the walkthrough was just as compelling as playing the game. So
Mm.
that's where I felt like it's more of a good story with not great combat and gameplay elements. Whereas like say a game like a Walking Dead, where Telltale had very limited interactive elements, but storyline was really great and you had choices and things like that. So yeah. So
Do you think
that's where I'm at. Yeah, go ahead.
do you think it may have been a conscious decision, thinking that people would skip Hellblade 1 and just play Hellblade 2? So they, like you said, they reestablished a lot of where she was, what she was been going through, all that kind of stuff. Like, do you think they did that to make sure that they weren't having assumptions of the gamers knowing everything that Hellblade 1 taught them?
Well, there is if you hadn't played before, here is what you need to know.
Oh shit.
So in
Okay, never mind.
a lot of ways they, yeah. And I don't know if this
All
game
right.
is for anybody who hadn't played the first one, quite
Yeah.
honestly. I don't
Okay.
know. Cheesy, have you played either Hellblade games?
No, but just hearing you talk about it, it sounds like it would be kind of a tricky. Um, it sounds like it would be hard to tell the story of, like if it is about mental health, that's great. But also, I don't know how negative you can be with a game. Like if you're watching a movie, that's different because you're just sitting there watching it happen. But if you are in control of a character, and like you were saying, the Furies, is that what they're called?
Mhm.
Yeah. If they were just negative the whole time, I think gamers would also be pretty upset. And maybe they also would start to have those voices of like, yeah, you're right. I can't do this. I don't know why I'm even playing this game.
Well, that,
Um,
yeah, to put it into perspective for you, I had to stop playing the first game because of that kind of thing.
oh, okay.
I played the first game after Bobby, the Nintendo guru, died.
Yep. Yeah.
So I was in a pretty bad space mentally, and trying to play this just a few months after that, I just couldn't, because it was bringing me down to that kind of thing. It was, trying to play video games as an escape from how shitty real life can be, and then
Mhm.
having the video games deal with something that serious. And it's not like they did it in a bad way or in a hurtful negative kind of way. It was just like, I can't deal with this now. I need to do something that either like just explodes in a fun way or is colorful and bright and a good escape. Like I couldn't mentally handle that game at all. So it's heavy, but they do it in a, in a pretty good way that can put you. So you need to have your mental fortitude in the right place to play at least the first game. Haven't touched the second game yet. I'm looking forward to trying to get into it and see. But you are absolutely on the money, Cheesy. You need to have a good head on your shoulders and be in the right frame of mind to try to tackle these games.
Okay. Well, I mean, from what Todd was saying, is it sounds like the second game kind of fixed that a little bit.
It did, because like I said, there was some more positive voices.
Uh-huh.
It was just kind of oftentimes an imbalance where it was like, it
Oh, okay.
wasn't like two, a devil and angel at the same time. A lot of it was all of a sudden they're being negative, and then in another context they're being positive, and then you had another voice. I don't want to give that part away. That is ultimately another negative voice as well.
Okay.
But I think, and I think where the first game ended, and I'm not saying that like you can just like at the end of the game you can defeat your mental health illness by killing a boss or something and it just goes away. Mental health isn't something that you can manage. It just never completely goes away. And I think that's part of it. But I think a lot of ways I thought, once again, it's like when a person gets on medication, they get therapy, they have more coping skills. In this one, maybe she did, but once again, I felt like there was not the way the game ended in a lot of ways didn't make me feel very like, wow, I feel so much more like cleansed and feel better. I kind of feel like unresolved in some ways. So I don't know. I'm trying not to be totally negative because there are some good things about this game. Like I said, the sound design is amazing. The art work is beautiful. The land is not very pretty. Iceland is not very pretty. It's very rocky, kind of ugly. And there are some, like, I think the elements of adding on the companions was a great decision. I just thought they could have been more useful in the storytelling and developing relationships and things like that. So, and I really wish the developers of the game would have just made like a story mode where it essentially does the puzzle solving, which I quite honestly, puzzles are even worse in this game in a lot of ways. And the puzzles, I think, take you out of the element and also take up a lot of the time. It almost feels like filler so they can make a longer game. The combat is really only like 10 to 15% of the game, which once again, it's very simplistic. It's very much, the patterns of the boss, you can do it really easy. And it's not like it's Metroid where you add on extra skills and abilities and power-ups and things like that. It's not that type of game. So, check it out. It's on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, by all means, it's cheap on PlayStation. The first game is cheap on PlayStation 1, and if you want to jump into PlayStation, on the second game, you definitely can. Just watch the first opening to understand where it's coming from. And if you deal with mental health issues, see the reviews for that because there are probably reviews on that basis, people whether it's a good idea or not. So that's why it's a controversial game, because some people are saying anybody that scores it really low doesn't know what they're talking about. It's not a broken game. Totally get it. But when it's a sequel, you do expect certain things to be improved with the game rather than a lot of the same problems people had the first game, and I feel like they are still there. So that is me, and Donnie is going to kill me now. But this game is doing a lot for a lot of people, though. A lot of people are embracing it and loving it. So it just might not be my bag, but I'm glad I experienced both of them.
Yeah, I've seen reviews all over the map, so it makes sense, I think.
Yeah. So that's what we've been playing, folks. Let us know if there's anything you're excited about, any games you want us to talk about in the future. I'm looking for that game to get me in right now. Right now, I'm kind of just experiencing a lot of different games, so we'll see what comes next for me. But until then, all right. Now it's time for the bonus round, gentlemen. This is our discussion on the predictions for both Nintendo, which has failed to tell us when they're going to have their big direct, but we found out about it because it was at an investment briefing, which was great. That's the great best way to
Yep.
find out when somebody's going to do something. And then we have the PlayStation Showcase or State of Play, which is highly rumored, but still no peep about it. It was supposed to be this week. Nothing has come out. We did get an update on the State of Play, their State of Gaming, where they have their deals and stuff like that, and some new announcements about PlayStation Plus. But that's about it. So, Cheesy, you've never done this before, but we have 3 different categories we walk through. What you expect to see. So these are the things kind of like what you've heard rumbling, kind of like, I know this is what they do. It's their game when they play. It's what you're going to expect to see. What you want to see. This can either be something like, I really want this, or it's not going to happen in a million years, but it's what you want to see. And then what you don't want to see. So there's something in showcases you're like, they always do this and I hate it. It gets under my skin. Please stop doing that. So,
Okay.
So we'll do round robin.
Yeah.
And so basically we'll start off with the Nintendo.
Okay.
What you expect to see. So you'll go first, Mark go second, I'll go third, and then we'll hit the next one and we'll do it that way.
Okay. What I expect to see?
Yes.
I feel like we're just at a weird point right now because we could be at the end of the Switch's life cycle. Like, this could be the last big direct that we get for the Switch. Because, I mean, did we get an announcement that's the next console?
Well, yeah. So, okay. So Todd's mostly right, saying we don't have a direct announcement, but kind of wrong. So I'm going to clarify that right now. So we had that tweet like 3 weeks ago saying, "This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the later half of 2024. But please be aware there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor at that time." So we do know that they will absolutely have something within the month. We will absolutely have some sort of showcase in a June timeframe. Early, late, we're not sure. They have a few games ready to go for June. So my prediction is sometime this is going to happen before, money would have it before June 14th, so they can pump up Monster Hunter Stories, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Monkey Ball, Luigi's Mansion 2. All of those hit after like June 14th or 15th. So my prediction is in the first 2 weeks of June, we're going to see something so they can ramp up marketing for all of those games, especially Luigi's Mansion, which is what, June 25th? 6th, 7th?
Yeah.
June 27th? Yeah. So anyway, 100% happening before June 27th, but exact dates we don't know.
So the last Nintendo Direct that was the summer area timeframe was June 21st, 2023. So they decided to get out of everybody's way, go about 2 weeks later and do it. So we could potentially see the same thing again.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cheesy, it might be the Switch 2 might be announced the same way the first Switch was basically you got that weird reveal in Japan in like, what was it? Like it had the commercial and then you got it like, oh, here's the real event and it's coming out in March. Yeah. But maybe April.
So what I expect to see, John Ebo and I have a running bet right now that no new games will be announced for Nintendo, and he's saying that no new games are going to be announced. I still think that we may get something, just something new. I gave him Metroid Prime 4 because sure, it could happen. I don't know if it's going to, but what I expect is remakes. So I don't know, let's say Twilight Princess and Wind Waker.
Damn it.
I don't know how likely it is. I know that it's been rumored. Well, no, it hasn't been rumored. It's just been wish list by so many people, and they want it to happen. At this point, you would think that Nintendo has been listening to what people want, especially after Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door. I think they're going to bank on some extra Zelda content, and that will probably be. I don't want to say it's going to be like the biggest game for the Direct, but it's not a bad choice. So I think they could have a home run with that.
Interesting. Because those games were both on the Wii U, so they are HD already.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's not exactly like it would take a lot of effort to put them on the Switch.
And also when it comes to the
I'll say
Wii
that.
U like deluxe series, I guess, is not a lot of people had a Wii U. So this is another opportunity for them to push those Wii U games out to the Switch users.
Yeah, some
Not all
bag-selling
games
Switch
either.
games have outsold the entire Wii U lifetime
Yes.
sales. Like,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer at this point.
Very, very good. Mark, what do you expect to see from Nintendo?
All right, so I said, damn it, but I had the Wind Waker Twilight Princess as my want to see because I don't know if I
really?
expect to see them.
You have very low expectations.
I do because my expect to
Okay.
see is basically what I already listed out was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, some other things we know about, and hopefully Metroid Prime 4.
Wow.
You think that's actually going to be on the Switch?
I said hopefully, but I will give you a sneak preview of my what I want to see because it's also going to include Metroid Prime 4 because I don't actually expect to see it. So I don't know. I'm mixing my hopes and my dreams and my wants and my expectations all into one weird little pile because it's Nintendo. So I'm gonna kind of copy what Cheesy said. Like that running joke is like this June showcase, we are not gonna see much new stuff. We are going to see the stuff we know about. Like I said, this is going to be a marketing tool for the games that are coming out after June 14th or whatever I listed before, like Monster Hunter. Even if this direct happens on the 20th of June, they're going to say, hey, we launched Monster Hunter 6 days ago. Go buy that game. And in a couple of days, Luigi's Mansion is going to come out. You should buy that game too. And, like so on and so on. Like there might be some like Endless Ocean DLC or some shit like that. But like, we're not getting a ton of new stuff. I don't think. So yeah, you know what? I'll move my Metroid back over to my what I want to see. What I expect is not much.
Wow.
Nintendo's broken me. What can I say?
Wow. You're not expecting like the last year to be just like a juggernaut, like a lot of systems where it's like the last year's like, this is where it all comes together and we no Last of Us Part 2 at the end of PS4? No, not so much.
No.
Okay. Wow.
Maybe.
You guys are bumming me out.
Maybe.
Okay.
Some killer stuff that we've wanted on like Nintendo Switch Online. Like keep those subscriptions rolling. You know what I mean? Like we're getting some like, I don't even know what's not on the system yet that they could throw on there.
I got it.
Let's hear
Smash.
it.
Smash 64
yes.
online.
Smash 64 and the Pokemon games for GB, GBA, Color, whatever. Like that would absolutely blow my mind and is something I could
getting like Mystery Dungeon. Is that a game that's
no, I'm talking Mystery core Dungeon, Pokemon guys. Games because
no, you're just getting Mystery Dungeon. Don't fool yourself,
Todd. I was trying to come back to the light, and you're shooting
Pokemon Pinball. That's what you're getting.
Okay,
Pokemon Pinball.
Their valid reasoning behind this is because they've shut down Nintendo Switch, or the online functions and everything for the 3DS.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of games that you just straight up can't buy anymore, including the virtual console games that were on 3DS, which included like red, blue, gold, silver, yellow, crystal, all that kind of stuff. So like we need a place to get those and be able to bring those Pokemon over to Pokemon Home. And that place is Nintendo Switch Online. So if you want people to re-up their subscriptions, which is coming up this fall, that makes sense. So I do kind of expect to see them make a big swing for like, why should I keep subscribing to Nintendo Switch Online? And that could be it. That could be a big one. and Smash Online, like, or Smash 64. Oh, cheesy. Yes, great call.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of funny because I mean, I thought that NSO was going to be the home for like DLC for
Right.
the core games because we had what Smash. Oh, we had sorry, we had Mario Kart, and then we had the second Splatoon.
And
So I
Animal
honestly thought
Crossing.
that we would get this in Animal Crossing. I thought we would get the third Splatoon in there,
No.
and it's just a shame because I think that would, or maybe they announce it later and say now you get it, and that'll bring more people back into Splatoon, which I think I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's my thought. Okay, cool. So we've got NSO potential, Smash 64, the remakes of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Okay, you negative Nellies. I'm gonna say we're gonna get, and this is weird because I'm not normally a Nintendo guy, but I'm gonna say we're gonna get a. There has been a very well known that it's already done a remake of an old I'm blanking on the series, the one where they have all the people dating and fighting um
Fire
with the
Emblem?
battling. Yes, Fire Emblem. There's like an old Fire Emblem that has been remade that is just waiting there to be released. So it's almost like, hey, it's in our back pocket. It's been done for 2 years. Here
Oh.
it goes. Kind of like the Metroid Prime remake, remaster, whatever. Same thing there. So I think it's going to be the Fire Emblem game is going to be revealed because ultimately Nintendo still has a high software target to sell this year.
Yeah.
So nothing this year is moving the dial or like it's really pushing a lot of people. So I think they've got to bring back some things that will definitely push people. They know they're not going to sell a lot of new systems, but at least they want to sell a lot of software. So the other thing I'm going to say is they are going to bring one of the kind of like they did with Link's Awakening. They're going to do something very similar with a beloved classic, and that is Link Between Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Do a remake of that, make it work from a non 3DS perspective, and bring that out. It's a new redone because I think that game did very well.
Yep.
And they could even use the same art style or something else and bring it up. It's a game once again. 3DS is really dead, so what can you do with those games? So I think that may be something that's new news, could come out and could be there as well. There you go, Mark.
I still love you.
And I think that could be like what we've seen with a lot of Mario games, like Mario Wonder. That was shown and then released like 3 months later. So I think this could be one of the things. Very short release cycle for that. So I think those are probably the 2 games that will get them to the fall. Because quite honestly, I don't think they have any other big bullets of like a huge game. They don't have a Pokemon game this fall, which is normally their heavy hitter for the holiday.
They could do the
So I think
same
that
thing
would
with
be
a
it.
Pokemon game, though. Quite
You
like
think?
completely honest,
Maybe
they
like a mini
could
dungeon or something like
absolutely
that,
drop
Mark?
out
Like a
like
non-core
an
one?
old remake of a core. Like they could drop out like
What about
Pokemon Black
Stadium?
remake or
Do they
something
do
like that.
like Stadium
Pokemon Gray.
Remaster or something like that?
Yeah. They could easily just do that same kind of thing of like, here's Pokemon
Yeah.
Gray. It's a remake of Black and White, and it includes Black and White 2, and it's the same art style that we did for the Diamond or whatever the hell it was. And that's releasing this fall as our like big Pokemon game. And we'll talk more about what's the other one called? Z Z A
Zaw.
something.
Z.
Za,
Zaw,
Pokemon
dude.
Za.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in 2015. I could absolutely see them doing something crazy like that.
Okay. I didn't know they did that with Pokemon. I thought it's like it's got to be like in that Pokemon Day thing, and then they show everything, and it's like
They
anything else that
usually
side doesn't
do.
happen in Pokemon.
I wouldn't rate that as a great prediction, but they could.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Now we get into the logic doesn't matter, but what you want to see. The one more thing.
Oh, the one more
It's gonna be
thing.
cheesy. Yeah, well, that's part of it, right? They always do like one more thing, or there's something that's big. And I will say this: Nintendo is lying liars who always lie about lying about lying,
Yeah.
because they'll always say we're only going to focus on this part of the year, but they'll always show something that inevitably is going to be for something else. So I think they're going to do something that is not necessarily coming out like by December, but it could be a
Yeah.
game that comes out January, February, March
Mm.
that they can say, oh, and one more thing, it's X.
Right.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think that they're going to talk about the next Nintendo console. I
No.
don't think that they're lying about that. Just good to set expectations ahead of time. Okay, so for want and I don't know if it's a one more thing reveal, but it's something that needs to happen. A new Donkey Kong game. And I understand that Retro has been working on Metroid Prime 4. Somebody has to be working on a Donkey Kong game. We haven't had a new Donkey Kong game since Tropical Freeze. And Donkey Kong is getting their like Donkey Kong Country Land
right?
in Japan. It got delayed, but it's still coming out this year.
It's Orlando too. Like they're working on that
Yeah.
for summer of 2025. Like
Yeah.
So like perfect time to launch a game. You got the hype.
So
behind
where?
the
Oh,
franchise.
in that sense, bring DK64 to N64 or the
NSO.
NSO app.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
not a great game. It's fine. I love it.
Needs to
I'm
be
a
there.
apologist for
Yeah.
it, but I don't know. There's just no Donkey Kong love. Like if you really want to think about it, the newest Donkey Kong game that we've gotten was the DLC for Mario plus Rabbids.
So
Wow.
weird. So weird.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
What if it's Donkey Kong 64 HD and it's done by the ukulele team?
No, I think that
Sign
game
me
is
up.
pretty broken. I don't know how you it's pretty tedious. Oh man. I don't know if that would make a lot of people happy.
How about Donkey Kong plus minions?
Sign me up.
Plus minions, like
Minions.
Illumination.
Yeah, minions are huge.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, why not?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it
That's
would make sense,
that's
right?
a seller.
'Cause, I mean,
Mhm.
yeah. Because, if the rabbits aren't good, the minions are even better.
Yeah. How to train your Donkey
Okay.
Kong. Just Donkey Kong
So a
riding dragons. That's all I need.
Can they bring back the congas? Can they bring back the
Oh,
swing king of
yeah.
swing or whatever? Can they bring
Yeah,
any
I
of
mean
that
the
stuff back?
bongos will work on the Switch if you have the GameCube adapter.
Okay.
So
You can
I was
use the
Yeah.
playing
Joy-Cons
King of
maybe
Swing
to
on
do
this thing
that.
not that long ago. It's great. I still love that King of Swing. It's so like good at the grab and everything. Just the shoulder buttons. It's
Yeah.
underrated game.
What was the other one? So there's Donkey Konga. Wasn't there another Donkey Kong game that had like some type of gimmick? I can't remember.
Jungle Beat?
Yes, Jungle Beat. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Plenty of opportunities for Donkey Kong.
Absolutely.
Donkey
rife.
Kong 1-2 switch.
Yeah.
Gotta peel a banana.
It's just wild to me,
DLC
like not even Donkey Kong, just retro in general has not been on Switch. In
Yeah.
the 7 years that we've had Switch, we have not gotten a retro game.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's a shame,
Crazy.
yeah. Because I mean, we didn't get the game that they were working on before they got Metroid Prime handed back
Right.
to them, and now, that game, Metroid Prime, we're 5 years since we saw the logo, I think. So there you go.
Yeah.
Times. Okay, we're gonna turn this and make it a little more positive as we got sad about something else. Mark, I know you mentioned the remake of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I don't know
Yeah.
where you decided to put that.
That's
But also Metroid Prime 4. Anything else?
I'll put those in here in the what do I want to see? I want to see Metroid Prime 4. I want to see at least Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. I'd love to see both. Whether it's a 2-pack or like a staggered release, like these are coming out 3 months within, a 3-month time span or 6 months or something like that. But you're getting the, I don't know, Year of Zelda or something like that, like 2 Zelda remakes in the year, whatever. I don't know. But so I'll put those in what I want to see. I think I'll be fired off the show if I don't say I want to see Wave Race. So there's my reference.
You already get
for
Wave
that.
Race? Didn't you already get Wave Race?
Probably. I say Wave Race every episode. It's in my contract.
Okay.
I want to see that. I want to see a game. I'm going to be as vague about what this game is because I don't know. But I want to see a game, kind of to your point, that's that one more thing that is not within the 2024 time frame that looks a little too good for Switch.
Mm.
But they don't say that it's not for Switch.
On
But
a
I want
Switch
it to
system.
set the message boards on freaking fire of like, we just saw our first Switch 2 game. That was 100% a Switch 2 game. Nintendo will deny it like straight to the grave until the Switch 2 was announced. And they're like, hey, back in June, we showed you this first game for this new console, and here it is officially. I don't know if that's like a new Mario game or a new Mario Kart or a Zelda game or something, Metroid 4. I don't care what it is. I don't like at this point, it doesn't matter. But I want a game that we all look at and we go, that's not running on Switch. And Nintendo's like, I don't know, that game's coming out in 2025, but there's no Switch logo on it. It just makes everyone go freaking crazy. Like that's what I want. I want Nintendo to just light us all on fire for the next few months and just let us smolder in that fire of like, they had to be dropping some hints. There's no Switch title. There's no logo. There's no nothing on this game. It just says Metroid Prime 4 2025, and we all go nuts because it looks way too good to run on current Switch software or hardware. That's what I want.
Like it. So, a tease of a tease.
Yep.
Very specific, Mark. I like that because it's going to basically. So when we judge these predictions, Cheesy, remember this one. And if Mark even has a hint of like claiming it, you need to be the like the judge of like, no, Mark doesn't get credit for that.
I think I'm pretty clear.
does.
It has to not include the Switch logo. It has to say 2025,
Switch
and it
logo
has
on
to look
things?
a
They
little
do?
too. You know how they always drop like the chink switch, like the
Oh.
you know, like that's not included in this. It's not. There's no little like here. This is on a Switch piece of hardware. There's no like click logo. There's none of that
Yeah.
bullshit. It does not show any of that. It just like
The beloved
shows,
bullshit of the Switch.
right, but like it's fine. But like it needs to look prettier than a Switch can run and not have a Switch logo, and it needs to say 2025. The game is irrelevant at that
Cheesy.
point.
I think also it has to be the one last thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. So a caveat.
Yeah,
okay.
So we're saying one last thing, no Switch logo, something looks way better than the Switch could actually do.
I'll give
I think
him
that's
that.
what you're going for, Mark.
Yeah.
That's
There
what
we
I'm
go.
going for. The game
Okay,
at that point is
tease,
irrelevant because it's all about the
18
hype.
caveats later. Little asterisk. I think there's 18 asterisks following this, so I like it. I like it.
That's it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to follow you up. That one last thing is going to be we finally get a trailer for Metroid Prime 4. It says 2025, and that's it. The trailer, 2025. And I think this is going to be the cross-gen game. This is going to be the Breath of the Wild that was on both.
Okay.
It's on both, but really, did anybody play it on, Wii U?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like they can say that like, oh yeah, absolutely, this game's still coming to Switch. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, this game will be on Switch.
I think it will be
the
a
trailer we saw is running on Switch too.
Yeah, because I think we're going to get a lot of cross-gen titles at least the first year of the Switch 2.
I think we're talking about
so
the
I
same
think anything
prediction.
is game that we could see come to Switch 2 in a better version for at least the first year.
Yeah.
So you're not saying that it's a launch game, just that it will be within the
I
first
said 2025.
Year.
Yep, 2025, whenever things happen. 2025, it's fiscal. Nintendo can always say, oh, it's fiscal 2025, or whatever they want to say. It's up to them.
Yeah.
We'll
I think
see.
we're talking
But
about the same
think
game. Whether or not it's
could
Metroid
be.
Prime, I think we're talking about the exact same game in the same way they're going to drop it.
But yeah, if they're showing this game, it's got to be like prime time. We waited 5 years for this. They show it, and people are like, holy shit. Wow, it looks way too good. But they're like, well, retro always makes everything look way too good. They'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. If anybody can do that, it's retro. Can make the Switch sing.
Yeah, and it'll run on Switch for plausible deniability kind of thing. Like it's just like, yeah, we dropped it on Switch. 6 whole people bought it.
It'll be 3640p, something like that. Yeah, sure. Good enough. Good enough. So the secondary thing I'm going to do, because that's what I want, not necessarily it's sane. I'm going to get my Eternal Darkness HD Port
Ooh.
done. I think it's time. If it's about the only time I could expect this to actually happen, when you've got an install base of 140 million people. Why not? You could probably get 3 people to buy it, including myself. So why not? If Mario,
Up to.
if 1-2 Switch can sell like 5 million copies, come on, guys, throw me a bone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that could be a fun just look back. Other than that, what I really want to see, considering we just got, and I know this is everybody's really excited, Cheesy, you were excited about it, was we're getting Link and Legend of Zelda in Lego form. I mean, $300
Yeah.
for that set.
It looks
I
so
mean, we already have Mario in Lego form. I want a Nintendo World Lego game.
good. Yes. Yeah.
Why not?
I love that.
It could be so much fun. Goofy
love that.
fun. You don't need voices in Lego games. We already know
Mhm.
that. You don't need it to be successful. It works really well. And that becomes more of that could be a huge hit on
Mhm.
Nintendo. And they've got such a big user base. Why not? I think that could be a huge, huge hit.
What's it called?
I'm calling it Lego Nintendo World. And it's going to be like a blending of like goofy things. You can team people up, or you go to different areas. Think about almost like the theme park.
Yeah.
From a lens of that, like the theme park.
I'm just wondering if you can get away with calling it Lego Nintendo World when they had a Nintendo World game. And then they have Nintendo Land
Yeah.
for the theme park.
Okay, Cheesy, you're expecting the 13 million people that owned Wii U to remember that. And it may piss
they
them off,
should
but I think they're
remember
willing
it.
to take a ball.
Those are
Honestly,
great games.
just bring that over.
Yeah.
Nintendo World, and then with some
okay.
new IP like ARMS and Splatoon. Like, I think those are the only IPs that you could add. Maybe Ring Fit as well, Labo. Like, there's still some things that you could do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. I think it would be a perfect fit. It kind of gives people what they've always wanted, especially we always wanted that Labo game, or sorry, the Amiibo game. Never got that. I think it would be great. And they just think about it. It's like, oh, by the way, we're going to start selling you more Legos. And I think this is a great relationship. Nintendo and Lego are very compatible, especially they've got their new relationship.
Now, would it be a
What I want to
Nintendo?
see.
Would Nintendo be developing this, or would it be like one of the usual like was it Traveler's Tales?
It's like
Who
when you
usually develops the Lego games?
It's Traveler's Tales, and Mark, you essentially would Nintendo would be a producer on the title, kind of like Bayonetta would be.
Yeah.
Nintendo would produce it along with the creative team, but they would get that party to basically manage it for them, which Nintendo likes to do. They like to have third parties make their games for them.
I like it. I love that.
So there you go. I got a little bit more concrete in my predictions, so I appreciate that. Lastly, what you don't want to see. Should I already say Wii Music too?
Yep.
So I'm not trying to be negative, which is really weird because I'm usually a pretty positive person. I just think with this possible direct, it's so hard to tell if this is, like what Todd is saying, going to be a banger year and just like go out with a bang, or if it is just remakes and we're just focusing on the next console, and you'll find out more about those games soon. Oh man, I've got 2 of them. I don't want to see a Kirby game. As much as I love Kirby, that's just the sign that the console is done. And as much as like we do want to move on to the next console, it's just a cliche at this point, and it is kind of a funeral, I think, for the Switch if you have a Kirby game for like the last
I think
year.
Yoshi's the new sign of the end of the games, because Yoshi games have been far less.
Yeah.
I think Kirby's been better than Yoshi lately, to be honest.
Yeah, Crafted World, it was okay. The music, though, I mean, that music is just like triggered in my head because it was just the same thing over and over. Nothing new to it.
So should I just put you down for a Kirby then?
Yeah, we'll just say Kirby.
You don't want to see a Kirby. Okay.
I do have one more though.
Yeah,
I don't want to see a baseball game for like a Mario baseball game. I don't want to see it.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I would love to see it if it's done well, but with our previous sports games, they've not been great.
Off this gen.
So, like, just save it and fix it, but don't put out a Mario baseball game that is gonna be half baked.
You don't want the what is it? The Shohei Ohtani baseball game.
I mean, that would be kind of
Ken
cool.
Griffey, I mean, he could come back, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Of course, they don't own the Mariners anymore either, though. So I don't
True.
see that happening.
Yeah.
That could be huge, though. Like Mario baseball, was it 3D All Stars? Or no, what was the game that was? Oh, what was the Mario game where they played basketball against real people?
Oh, that was NBA
Street?
Street Volume 3.
Yeah.
And then you could have Mario, Luigi, and Peach in the game for whatever reason. GameCube only, though, going back to our previous conversation.
So what if they made a Mario game, but the only, like, it was all Mario characters, but it's one human. It's Shohei Ohtani. That'd be weird.
That'd be amazing.
It also kind of would work, though, because he's Japanese.
Kind of would.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And he's like the biggest star in the world, and that would sell huge
Yeah.
Japanese audience, which quite honestly, Nintendo caters to far more than the American audience. So
I kind of like it. It's like the comparison, or not the comparison, but people want, like, if you could make a Muppet movie and there's only one actor,
Yes.
what movie would it be? Like that. This is that game.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
I'll put that
It's
in
like
my
the
want
it's like the
column.
reverse. It's the reverse of New Donk City, where everybody's a Mario type character and there's one human. It's like
Yeah.
Freakazoid. Yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah, that
so I
needs to
changed
go
your
up our
opinion. As
want
long as
column.
it's Mario with one human baseball player, you're all in.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Sets
They
the new
brought back
standard
Ken
for all the
Griffey
Mario
Jr..
sports games. They just choose one person, and the rest of them are all
That's right.
It's the Space Jam of Mario games.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's so
LeBron
good.
James. Yes, gotta love it. Yes.
So
Perfect.
good.
Okay, Mark, what don't you want to see?
Mine's slightly more vague, but it kind of ties into what I first said about like what I expect to see, and that's like not much new, but that's also what I don't want to see. Like I kind of expect to, but I want them to surprise me. So I don't want to see exclusively things that we already know about in slightly more detail. I want there to still be some surprises. I want there to be some reason to go, oh, I wanted to see this, or I couldn't have dreamt of this game, or this is getting me so hyped for the rest of 24 into 25, whatever. Like I want there to still be some excitement. And it seems like a lot of people, ourselves included at times, maybe even tonight, can be a little bit like, I don't know if Nintendo has anything left until Switch 2. So like, I don't want that. I don't want to be this negative and have it actually be true. Nintendo's the company that's like usually like I go in negative and then they drop something amazing on me.
Right.
So I don't want them to not have that magic.
No, I get you. Like, because I'm the same way. I want them to bring something new to the table because our bet is if they do have something new other than Metroid Prime 4, John Ebo has to eat the one chip.
Oh, cool. I might be doing that next week just because.
Again?
I should have put a wager. Yeah, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it again?
I don't know. My friend walked into the dealership today and he's like, hey, do you want to do the one chip thing? And I was like, yeah, maybe. And he was like, this week? I was like, no. Finn's birthday's tomorrow and I got some other shit going on this week. He's like, maybe next week? Yeah, okay, maybe. So we're going to try to set a date, I guess, but I don't know.
Oh, it's awful. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
I was watching one where they actually did the most sour candy ever. And people had to, it was like a almost like a gobstopper or something like that. So you had to wait till it was dissolved. So it's not like just a chip where it's gone. You sit there sucking on it. Apparently it's
horrible.
Not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
I can almost see that being worse because like you said, it's just sitting there
Yeah.
versus
Sitting
like
there, and it's on your
if you
tongue,
know
and it's burning
something
a
is
hole through
spicy
your
or
tongue.
hot, you just try
Yeah.
to get it down as soon as possible.
Yeah, and it hits you quick. Yeah, waiting for it'd be almost torture. It's like
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huh.
yeah, I don't know. I'll let you know how
Alright.
it goes if it happens.
Okay.
So Mark wants to walk away from the Nintendo Direct with a smile, not a not like the death march is already occurring.
That's it. Yeah, I don't want to be like, well, we predicted all of that. Womp womp. You know, like that's. I still want there to be something to be like, whoa, did you see that? Holy crap.
Yeah. Mine is a little bit more general, but I've noticed this with Nintendo. A lot of their things, they'll go really long on a game like two people care about, like
Oh
Endless
yeah.
Ocean. Here's 20 minutes on Endless Ocean. No, please don't. Or another farming sim or a cozy game. And it's like, oh boy,
Yeah.
who is that for? And yeah.
Yeah.
So
Here's
I don't want them
37
to
minutes on Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time. And
yes.
14 seconds of Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo! Like, yeah. Like, yeah. Mhm.
I do
I
not
get
want
you.
that. The other thing I don't want is I don't want a montage of 85 games that you throw 3 seconds of, don't show us the name, and try to remember those things. I hate that. It's a pet peeve. I don't like montages. It's like it's almost like a pity. Oh yeah, we'll put your game in and we'll show it for 3 seconds. We won't tell anybody what it's called, and you'll have to remember like it's that game with the puppy that shot bullets into a baby.
Ah,
That's not good.
I
I
don't
don't
want
like
that
that. I don't
game.
like that. And lastly, I really don't want to see Nintendo executives. I
Mm.
really don't. I'm kind of tired of it because I think they've gotten away from being wacky and silly, doing things like Rick with like the old executives where they'd like do was it Reginator? They would do like the Smash Brothers fighting. No, it's just they
Puppets.
stand there and they may wear a pair of gloves and snap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of boring. It's taken away the charm of the directs. And I'd really like the directs to change in the future where they go back to the weird and wacky. Maybe even have Nintendo characters host it. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do wonder if that was like oh Iwata thing. You know, like
Yeah.
he's the one that really brought the wackiness, and then you had Reggie as well. And Miyamoto, and maybe when he passed, that they just kind of left it with him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with Doug Bowser, that's so easy. But I also feel like maybe that's why he doesn't want to do it, is because that's the joke, right? Like he doesn't want to be the joke.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
maybe.
Nintendo of America, the legislative arm of Nintendo. That's pretty much it. The lawyers, that's what they do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
very good. Well, that is Nintendo. Do you think we're gonna get a Treehouse or no this year?
Ooh.
Yes.
Extended showcases, show times with the developers and the Treehouse team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think back to like even last year or 2 years ago, how often we've had a treehouse. Like, what was the last treehouse? Do we know?
Good question. And typically, you
Yeah,
also
I don't
sometimes
know.
often get surprises at treehouses as well.
Yeah. True.
I'm gonna look it up.
Depends on when this happens too, and what they have that they really need to show.
We had one in
more of.
2023 with Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
Super Mario Brothers Wonder. So they did have one
perfect.
last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they do this early in the month, I could see like Luigi's Mansion 2 and then something new that they do. Or, I mean, I could see them diving in like a deep dive into Fantasy Life I know I just made fun of that game. It's like the game they could focus on for way too long.
Sure.
But like, I hope if they do it in a Treehouse Live that I can opt out of.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I enjoyed
back from
Fantasy Life,
Treehouse.
but like that's just not the game that I want to take up the majority of this direct. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I could see them doing that. Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Well, I think the next one's probably going to be a little bit shorter because I know Mark, you're not a huge PlayStation fan.
I got some
Cheesy,
stuff.
I'm
Ready.
not sure where you're staying with PlayStation, but I think we'll get into this. So PlayStation, either it's going to be a showcase or a state of play. They've already announced that there will be no big like sequels to their big games. So outside of that, we really don't know what we're going to see from PlayStation. So let's start with you, Cheesy. What would you expect to see, or what you expect to see with PlayStation?
Probably. What was it? So we're not going to see any sequels, is what they said?
Pretty much of like their main huge, like God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man, anything like that. They said that's not going to be what they're going to showcase. Doesn't mean you won't see a new game from one of their first-party studios.
All right, what do I expect to see is Kojima in some fashion.
Oh, Keeley's letting him go? Like, not letting him be only there? Okay.
Oh, right, because he's usually at just like Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
But like, what they talk about at Summer Game Fest, you don't think that they would talk about in the showcase?
I mean, he does have a couple of exclusive games coming to PlayStation, Death Stranding and things. So he could divide himself and talk about the weird Xbox games he's making, and then he could show up on PlayStation and talk about his new games.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Kojima and then some actor.
Like a surprise guy who's going to be in Death Stranding 2. It's like, oh,
yeah, Death Stranding 2
or Fallon.
Jeez.
Because Conan was in Death Stranding 1, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then OD, is that the game that he's making with Jordan Peele?
That's the game he's making with Xbox, is OD.
That's Xbox, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
My bad.
He's making Stranding 2 for PlayStation, and then he's making essentially a stealth espionage game on PlayStation, which we know nothing about.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It could be any actor that Kojima has a crush on that could show up to say he's in it. He's gonna have a weird name like Death Killman. John Death Killman.
And I'm sorry, Conan was in Death Stranding. I haven't played the game, so I didn't know.
So I haven't either. I believe that's what he was. It was like Guillermo del Toro. It was a bunch of like, yeah. I'm looking it up right now to make sure I'm right.
I know Conan and Andy Richter were in Halo. They were like one of the
cameo in Death Stranding.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a video of him and Kojima actually having a session too.
That's very cool.
Check it on YouTube. Yeah. All right. Anything else you're expecting to see?
No, let's just go with that.
Okay, good deal. Mark.
Yes. I am expecting to see we don't know when this is happening, right?
It's supposed to be this month.
Okay. Because I was gonna say something with Destiny, but the new Destiny expansion is like early June.
Yeah,
isn't it? So there's very limited time unless they do like hey, we're talking about stuff tomorrow, because that's really, we're really running short on time for that to be relevant. So they may do a recap. So I'm still expecting a recap of like the latest Destiny thing expansion, the final shape.
Yeah, it's June 4th.
Yeah,
June 4th is
so
final shape, so that's like next
quickly
week.
Running out of time for that to be super relevant as a showcase. So I'm gonna say Resident Evil 9 is announced.
Oh, okay.
At this thing, I expect to see that because that's tied to PlayStation in some ways. It won't be an exclusive, but it'll be shown here first.
Yeah,
I think. Good pick. Yeah, it's time.
And like, are we getting more Spider-Man 2 DLC? I'm guessing we will.
They haven't announced anything.
Announced any? Yeah, this is where they do that. Spider-Man 2 DLC and Resident Evil 9. Those are my two.
Okay. All right. This is where I get a little negative Nancy about PlayStation. We're going to hear about a lot of remakes that don't need to be made. So we're going to hear about probably the Horizon Zero Dawn remake, which really didn't need to happen, which is a shame. And I expect to hear about this rumored Horizon Zero Dawn Lego game, which of anything I really don't care about, it's that getting a Lego game. It just seems like it's the wrong fit, because if I asked any Horizon fan to mention all the awesome characters within Horizon, they'd probably mention 3. And after that, it'd be like, guy with armor, guy, yeah.
So you're saying there's too few characters to do like the usual unlocking in a Lego game kind of thing?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Lego
Oh,
Star
yeah.
Wars, there's like 200 characters from like,
Yeah.
guy carrying a, container to, everything. But like it's always someone's favorite, like Yaddle or something, it's like.
Exactly. They can't even go like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like you have a ton of different wacky pirates you could get, but I mean, Horizon, you'd be there for like all the monsters and stuff, I guess. But yeah, I'm expecting to finally see that, and I just don't think it's the right mix. I would rather have a PlayStation Lego game where it's all of their cast of characters.
So we know what's in your.
And then I also expect, yes, exactly. I also expect to see the new Astrobot game announced. Because it's not like a sequel or anything, because Astro's only been like a demo and a VR game. So yeah, I'm expecting that. And I expect to see no mention of PlayStation VR 2. Sadly, that is the sad part. I just don't think we're going to see it. Okay. That is what I expect to see. Cheesy. What would you want to see?
I think it's time for Sly Cooper to come back.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's overdue.
A remaster collection or a new offering?
No, I think just a new game. I don't remember when the last game was, but it just seems like they need something fresh. Something that is just new and will bring in people. Like, I don't know if Sly Cooper will bring in people, but and maybe this is kind of the Nintendo in me talking, but I just find that IP really fascinating and fun and just different than what PlayStation is doing.
Yeah.
And also just like when you think about what PlayStation has released, I can't think of many IPs that they have left that they could showcase.
Yeah, blast from the past. Yeah, because I think the last game they made with Sly was by Sanzaru. So even I think it was Insomniac that made Sly Cooper.
I don't know.
Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch made Sly Cooper. Okay. So yeah, they had made like the first 3 games, and then Sanzaru came and actually made a new game, and people like that. So it could come back, and I think that was on the PlayStation 3 and Vita, I think. So I like it. It's a great series.
We went in such similar directions with this that I can't even believe it. I chose the exact same thing, but with Jak and Daxter.
Oh, Mark, you make my heart flutter.
Yeah. Like, whether it's a remake of like the first couple of games or like one of or whatever, or a brand new title, but like exact same thing. I think they need love of those more cartoony, fun franchises. Yeah. And I think a Jak and Daxter like early remake or a brand new title would be, that's what I would like to see. And I almost picked Sly Cooper, and I was like, no, you know what? My brother, one of his favorite franchises was Jak and Daxter. I know that'd make him happy. Let's throw that one out instead. So I'm so happy you said Sly Cooper, because I almost did, but like otherwise, same prediction. Let's go.
Nice.
No, I like where you're going. Anything else, Mark?
No, that's it.
Wolverine. Let's see the Wolverine.
Want to see some more of it? Yeah, it's time. I really want to see it too. I'm so hype after X-Men 97. I just want everything X-Men right now.
Yeah, I feel like it would be wise of them, even if they don't really have anything, just to talk about it. Just to, even if we did maybe see leaks of it, this is just the right time to talk about your Wolverine game.
X-Men 97's firing on all cylinders. Deadpool and Wolverine looks like it's going to be a smash. Like,
yeah, is that DLC?
Oh no, the movie. that's coming
I
out.
know, but I'm just saying.
Oh, is
like,
that DLC?
Will they?
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, introduce Deadpool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
shit.
That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. I would love it. Yeah. We don't know much about the game, so it could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So I already told you what Lego game I didn't want. This is the Lego game I want. You guys have mentioned some of their really fun mascots. Add in Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter. I mean, and then you can layer it on with some of the goofier stuff like Blasto, who you haven't seen since the PlayStation 1. You can add in some of the other franchises that have kind of ceased. Almost think of like it's a love of all things PlayStation. It's almost like a PlayStation World, or call it, if you want to get cheeky, PlayStation All Stars Lego, and like the All Star Battle Royale. But make it a Lego game, because I think that could be a blast. It'd be fun. And then PlayStation could go ahead and say, hey, Lego, we make all these cool Lego designs. Hey, we want a Lego PlayStation 1 Lego. And I think there's a lot of things that could come out of that. Could be some cross-gen, could be a fun. I think that would be so much fun. And it's probably not going to happen, but
I like it.
I want it. And, I always want Charlie to be able to play Lego games. So there hasn't been one in a while. So I guess we'll see. Other than that, what I also want to see is I want to see someone pick up the Infamous franchise and bring it back. We haven't seen it since Lost Light and Second Son, and I think it needs to come back. So I really want to see that. And maybe it's Blue Point coming in and making their first game. Would really love to see that. I think that would be amazing. But I don't know, quite honestly, if without Sucker Punch being behind that game, because they're too busy making Ghost of Tsushima, that they would want somebody else managing it for them. Don't know. Yeah. And then lastly, I really want to see Bloodborne brought to modern systems and then they can do it with a PC release at the same time. Make it next gen, because right now it's a 30 frames per second game. It's stuck. Right. Maybe they can partner with From and maybe make a DLC pack or expansion for it to make Joseph Moran happy. So that's really what I'd want to see from PlayStation. Because right now I'm kind of grasping at straws, because PlayStation right now is not doing much to make me happy as a gamer. So I could use some good news, quite honestly. And it's not more Horizon Zero Dawn. Sorry, folks. It's not. All right. So there we go. And then what you don't want to see.
What I don't want to see is The Last of Us Part 1 remake.
Yeah.
Don't want to see it.
I don't know what else they can do at this point. I mean,
just specifically that remake.
The lost footage we found in the corner.
Yeah.
Now it's we're putting the faces of Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us. So it's like
that's it. Weirdly enough, only for Ellie though. He's just his face.
Correct. Yeah.
What else don't I want to see? I don't want to see a new controller that is still using the same battery pack. Like,
yeah, that's
if the Wii U, or not Wii U, the Switch Pro controller can run for like 40 days and 40 nights, like it's incredible. That thing will tell me, hey, you need to charge your controller. I'm like, okay. And then it still lasts for probably another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Be honest,
it's crazy.
It's not really doing
I've gone a couple of days with that battery light going on. It's like Kramer in the car. It's like, how long can we go on empty? Like, that's the Switch Pro.
There's only one way to find out.
That's it. Drive it till it's empty.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, PlayStation thought everybody needed to have lights, motion control, a touch screen. It needed to have all of those haptics. It needed a speaker. I mean, it's like, no wonder the battery lasts 2 seconds. It's got like every bad feature you don't want to draw your battery life. So it's like, guys, do we really need all those things? Because there's like tips on how to make your battery life come. It's like, geez, calm down, PlayStation. Stop doing stuff. We want to be able to play it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they need more battery life.
Yeah, I like that.
So anything else, Cheesy?
That's it.
Okay, no remake remasters. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark.
This is a weird one because by saying what I don't want to see, it's kind of also saying something that I do want to see. But I'll say I don't want to see more of the like slow, painful death of PSVR 2. I've mentioned this a couple of times. So I want them to showcase some PSVR 2 stuff. I want it to look good. I don't want them to just be like, here's another thing that we made that like we're just going to abandon and forget about. And like, might as well go buy a Quest at this point. I want there to be some like strong, good support. I don't want it to be like, here's a bonus edition that if you have a PSVR 2, you can do a 30-minute like demo look around of a racetrack in this racing game that we have. Like, I want some good games, whether they are already existing games on other VR platforms or brand new experiences or whatever, but it needs to be like full good experiences, justify reasons for people to buy this headset. And again, I like my Quest, but I think the rising tide raises all ships in VR, and I just want more people to experience that. So like more Quest 2 and Quest 3 ports, just more support for I think a cool platform that Sony just kind of seems to be letting dry up. So I hate seeing the slow, silent death of that platform, and I want to see that reversed. So whether you want that as my like I don't want or I want column, you know what I mean? Like you can kind of spin it either way, but I'll put it in the don't want column for now because I don't have anything else.
I'm gonna put it as you don't want a lame, like, I guess we have to show the PlayStation VR 2 to show it actually exists.
Yeah.
You want an honest attempt. You don't want a lame, like, here's 15 other games you can get elsewhere that are full priced.
Hey, no. If they say 15 other games, like that counts as like good stuff. I don't want them to show like 2 that are like, I don't know, I guess you can do this stupid thing if you have a PSVR 2. Like that's what I don't like. If they show a 15
Or
game
Beat Saber
sizzle
tracks.
reel or something like that, like that's 15 extra games, dude. But like, I don't want them to be like, I don't know, like here's the new Wolverine game, and if you plug it into your PSVR 2, you can look around the bar in a stationary position, and Wolverine's sitting with his back turned to you. Like that's what I don't like. You know what I mean? Like it's those dumb little experiences that are like, hey, please spend $600 on this accessory for a 4-minute look around of a bar. Like, and that's it. That's the only mention of PSVR 2. If they do a 15 game sizzle reel, I'm counting that as a win.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did announce that PSVR 2 will be $100 off during their summer of games.
Nifty.
So that's a good win.
Yep.
PlayStation 5 will be $50 off, and there'll be other deals. So
now,
that's good news.
Entice people to get it with more than just money, and you've got a win in my books. So that's great.
Absolutely. Oh, and they also announced that PSVR 2 games are going to be part of PS Plus going forward too. They already announced the Ghostbusters game, a few others. So this is a good attempt to do the right thing.
They're doing some
Let's
good
see if they
stuff.
can continue on with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they show Half-Life Alyx, a lot of people will be very excited.
That's it. Show even a couple of real sizzly kind of games that get people excited and be like, yeah, it's $100 off. They're in PlayStation Plus, and these 2 games are coming up. Cool. It's quality, not quantity. Like I don't need to see 15, 20 games. If they show 2 absolute bangers, great. But if they show again like one half-assed attempt at like an experience, keep your $100, man. Go buy a Quest.
Yeah. It's DOA if they don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been out 18 months. Let's give it reasonably.
That's it.
Okay. What I don't want to see is I don't want. Well, this is a hard one because Jim Ryan's no longer around, so he's not going to show his ugly mug. I don't want us to not have. I don't want to stick around on see just a lot of third-party options that are available elsewhere. I want to see new experiences on PlayStation for what's coming out. I don't want it to be all like benefits from PS Plus, I think that's fine and all, but I truly don't want to just see like their playbook from the last couple of years, which has been really underwhelming. And I don't want to see a lot of like games as service games. I know we're supposed to see Concord. I don't know if I want a 30-minute preview of Concord. I really don't. I just want to see what makes that game tick and then show me later in video. So that's kind of what I say. Basically, I just need PlayStation. I don't want a half-ass attempt as they're the market leader right now outside of Switch, obviously. And I want them to do more than they have been, which is really bad marketing. It's been really lame, and it just has been underperforming and driving why we should own that $500 system. So I don't want to see the same old playbook, I guess is the best way to put it. And not a lot of live service games, which they did last time, which bored the crap out of me. So that's me. Yeah.
Fair.
Your Sony pony. So that is it for our predictions for both of these showcases. Hope you folks enjoyed. Hopefully we'll know soon when these both are going to happen, because I love this time of year. We're going to have so much fun, like releases and of new game trailers and things from June 7th through the 10th of June. And I hope they are a part of it as well. So with that, Cheesy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So if people want to check out the podcast and what you're up to, where can they find you?
Yeah. So the podcast you can find pretty much everywhere that you listen to podcasts, Communication Error. And then you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, CheezyC64, CheezyC64. If you like Nintendo content, news, Splatoon lore, then I'm the person you should follow. But again, thank you for having me on. I always love coming on, talking to you guys, and we'll see if our predictions are right.
Keep us honest, folks. That's all we ask. Well, thank you so much, Cheesy. It's always a pleasure. Mark, where can people find you?
Thanks for coming on, Cheesy. I just got to, before I pitch my own stuff, it's always a blast to talk to you, man. So thanks for joining us. You can find me mostly hanging out around Instagram and TikTok as Canardian_gamer or Canardian_Jedi if you want to see the Star Wars and cosplay side of things as well. Or for everything in our Discord channel. So make sure you join us over there and talk in all the different channels and categories and all that kind of stuff. It's always a good time.
And you can follow me on Threads at Tioxtra, at Secret Friends Unite, also on Twitter at Tioxtra and at Secret Friends U, our Discord, our website, secretfriendsunite.com, and also our Patreon, patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Thanks all. Appreciate it. This great discussion. It's always fun. It's my highlight of my week when we talk about video games and have a good time. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.